Admit. Okay, so bear with me because I'm doing multiple things at one time. So that's good to go. We are recording. Okay. All right. So here we are, everybody. Welcome. This is mapping your road ahead for our seniors who are class of 2026. Congratulations, parents. Very exciting. I am Lynn Morrow. I am one of the school counselors here at Edison, and I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves. Just to let you know, I have been through this as a parent 3 times. My youngest is 23 and done undergrad and grad school and a whole 9 yards. So if you have questions, I'd be happy to share my personal experience.
Yay. Hi, everyone. I am Anasia Rodriguez. I can spell that if need be. I am the college career specialist at Thomas Edison High School. This is my 2nd year with Edison, and then 5th year doing college advising. So, yeah.
Nice.
And hello, everyone. My name is Cia Bryant. I am one of the school counselors here. This is my 2nd year at Edison in I won't tell you how many years in education, a lot. And I also just went through this process. My daughter's a freshman at BCU. So.
Yeah. So we have lots of good information to share. And if afterwards, we're going to have a Q&A afterwards too. I'm also going to put on the screen an opportunity for you to write your questions down, and we'll take them on a form where I can help kind of manage it. But our agenda tonight is we're going to talk about what Student Services Department does. We're going to talk about our options that exist after high school, and that does not only include college. We have lots of different things we want to share with you. We're going to talk about the senior packet, and that it's going to be really important information for your kiddos who are looking to get information from the high school to whatever organization, school, what have you, after graduation, and how you would submit documentation, because there's lots of different rules about sharing privacy issues and such things such as that. We are going to talk about college and career with Ms. Rodriguez, financial aid, and then Q&A. So I'm going to put the next slide up for those who are watching from home. You have a code right there if you want to click on that. If you want to scan that for Q&A, you can, like I said, put the questions on a form, and we will go ahead and answer those at the end. But if something comes up in the audience, hold on, I'm just letting somebody else in here. If somebody has a question that's relevant in the moment, I'm fine with answering that as well.
Now I understand what you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's move on to our next discussion point. Student Services is here to support you. It's here to support your students when it comes to social emotional issues. It's here to support your students when it comes to academic planning and for post-secondary planning. That's what we do every day. And we work hard to make sure everyone's needs are met. And if you as a parent need to, get in touch with us, I'm going to show you our next slide. This is our team in a picture, but you can easily reach one of us by going to the Edison High School Student Services Department. You can make appointments by just looking at the staff member responsible for your student's alpha. You can call us. You can come in and have an appointment with us, whatever it is that you would like to do to connect with us. We are here to support you and your kiddo. And she just left. So she's the next one who is going to chat, but I'm going to introduce her a little bit more. Ms. Rodriguez, like she said, she's our college and career counselor. These are the ways that you can reach her. And she does maintain a Schoology page with a lot of information. You're going to get a lot of emails from her. I would say pay attention to every one of those emails because they're all extremely important. There is so much to do post-secondary wise, and it's really important that you guys are keeping up to date and keeping your knowledge right on top so you know what to do. Okay. These are the things she's going to talk about, and I'll introduce them for options after high school. There's always work. A lot of students will go right to work, especially with students who are in the academy who are getting these certifications to get into the workforce, because that's what a lot of our academy courses do. We prepare our kiddos to get right into the workforce. There's, of course, military options, and I'll let Ms. Rodriguez talk about that, but we're also doing ASVAB testing, I think 3 times this year. Does everyone know what ASVAB testing is? For those who don't know, it's a entrance exam for any of the military branches, and it gives information about what that student would be most appropriate for. and kind of play. It's like a placement test in a way, but it has lots of different tools to it. So even if you're not super excited about the military, I would encourage your kids to take that test because it will give a lot of information.
So Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery.
Thank you. And I think this will be a perfect segue for Ms. Rodriguez to jump in. So you can jump in right there. Here, I'll take this because we'll.
Do you want to share?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Somebody needs to.
Okay. Oh, I was thinking about the chat, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello everybody. Again, I am Miss Rodriguez. I am your college career specialist at Thomas Edison High School. As explained, we do all the options. So of course, work, if a kid wants to work at Wegmans or just really anywhere, military, apprenticeship, gap year, 2-year college, 4-year college. We're going to go through a little bit of everything. Me personally, I started at a 2-year college and then I went to a 4-year college. So that's my journey. But yeah. So work, military, gap year. This is very good if your kid is very much ready to just make money, do that hustle, or they just really want to figure out what they're trying to do. So this could look several ways. We do have recruiters that come once a month. So Army, Marines, and now Navy will be visiting us during lunches. So this is why the ASVAB is important as well, just because it's a good indicator if they're thinking about that pathway to just take the test and see the score that they can get, because it can determine, one, what branch they can be accepted to, and more importantly, the job that they would be eligible for. So for example, if a kid is interested in cybersecurity or nursing, they better get like a 70 or above. Yeah. And then gap year, depending on what they want to do in their age as well, this can be an opportunity to gain work experience or other programs such as,
No, go ahead.
such as AmeriCorps, for example, or Peace Corps. All you really got to do is be like 18 and of course, healthy, which can open up a lot of opportunities for kids as well. I was in AmeriCorps, so there's a lot of different fields you could go in. So education.
Can you be a little louder?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So education, nursing, even infrastructure as well, if a kid's looking for something to do in their gap year. So yeah.
I'll just enter them as they go.
You're good. Okay, vocational and technical training. This is essentially trade school. Trade school is another way for them to just start earning automatically. Going to a community college is much cheaper than going to a for-profit school because our state will help pay for a lot of opportunities. So this could be a CNA, this could be an IT certificate, for example, and some nursings as well. We also have ACE, which is our adult continuing education, from FCPS, which also provides these resources as well. So if you have kids who are interested in HVAC, mechanic, or again, if they just want a certificate, or again, like be a nurse, like an RN, this is a good pathway to consider. And there's a lot of funding opportunities provided by the state. And this is also pretty short if your kid's not really like into the whole 4-year thing either. 2-year college, this is where I started. Our common one is Northern Virginia Community College, go Nighthawks. This is nice if your kid is like, I'm not ready to leave the nest, but I want to go to college, or they really wanted to go into insert name brand school, but they don't have the grades. So this is a nice clean slate, because once they graduate and they go off to college, your GPA resets to 0. So it's a nice opportunity for them to really just start over and get themselves together to be academically strong going forward.
Can I jump in? Do you mind if I jump in?
Absolutely.
One of Virginia's best kept secrets is a school called Richard Bland College. It's a 2-year junior college, but it is the only one college in Virginia that has dormitories as a junior college. I think it was intentionally met first for students who wanted to go to William and Mary who didn't just have the grades for right away, but now you can transfer to any school. I've been to the campus. I think you have been too. Right?
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a lovely campus. It's an old pecan farm, actually. And it's right south of Richmond.
Yes. So it was a nice little 20-minute drive into Petersburg.
Yeah.
So it's also not far from Virginia State University either. So I'm glad you mentioned that. But yes, guaranteed admissions. Yes, technically. So it's like a junior college.
Yeah.
But guaranteed admissions is also a big thing in our state. So if a student earns an associate's degree and has the GPA requirement for guaranteed admission, depending on the university, as long as they apply, they're automatically admitted. So for example, UVA, if the kid wanted to transfer, they got to have at least a 3.5 or above to have that guaranteed admission. For example, I did that for George Mason, and then, yeah, guaranteed admission. I was not in debt until I transferred, is what I tell students. Yeah, and again, you can also do a lot of trade school opportunities there too if your kid wants that opportunity. They have a whole medical campus dedicated to our medically inclined students as well.
And they have a whole workforce development program for so something to know about the associate's degrees at Nova is you have an Associates of Arts, Associates of Science, and Associates of Fine Arts. Those degrees are all transferable to the four-year universities. Associates of Applied, any of those sciences, arts, and what have you, they are meant to be terminal degrees. They are meant to get your student into the workforce as soon as they finish that program. And they are generally not transferable. You would have to take additional classes if you do an applied studies diploma at Nova versus an associate's of one of those three.
Yes, Ms. Morrow is much more detail oriented than I am.
I've spent 14 years in non-traditional education, so I learned a lot about them.
Yes. For your college, the popular one. But yes, it's very good if the kids start the research themselves. I walk them through a lot of things as well through Naviance. There's literally a whole kind of like a college match system where the kids can put qualities of college that they're looking for from area. They can even put their grades and stuff. So 3.5, I want to school with this major, this location. I want frat life. I want football team, anything really. And it really helps them expand their minds outside of your common name brand colleges like Yale, Penn State, etc. Again, those are great schools. But sometimes your kid might find the Penn State in Connecticut or Colorado, if that makes sense. And also affordability, it can also help the kids determine that. And within that place in Naviance, read the emails. I give the kids the directions. Within that as well, you can also see the stats of Edison students that apply to those schools. You'll see the big schools on there. You'll get much more stats, but it does give them a picture of these self-reported admissions things. So for example, a lot of our kids with a 4.0 and above, they tend to go to UVA or Virginia Tech because they have those grades and test scores. Yeah. What else? Check application. We have early action, early decision, regular enrolling. I believe we're going to explain that in the next slide. And of course, knowing the college's requirements, 9 times out of 10, they're going to require a recommendation letter. Counselor will always be the first one to do it. Their teachers, depending on how much the college is asking for, a personal essay as well, and any supplemental writings that they will ask for too, and a resume as well. Common App is the common way to do a application, but for whatever reason that school is not on Common App, the kid can go directly to the website, click apply, and go from there. And they are freshmen or first-year students. But yes. Great. Early action, early decision, and regular enrolling. So early action is non-binding. The most common date is November 1st, so almost a month from now. November 1st is super duper important. I recommend kids get it in sooner so the website does not crash, because I used to work in admissions as well at the call center. The counselors do not care if it's November 2nd. It is late. That being said, it is a non-binding option where kids, they can still apply to multiple schools. The big thing is that they get priority scholarship consideration. So they're at the top of the pile for that. And it's non-binding, meaning that if they are accepted, they do not have to go there. They still have their range of options. Versus early decision, this is a binding agreement. If accepted, you have to go. It's a contract you sign, your child signs, and a counselor signs. This is good if it's either a full need school, meaning whatever the gap is, they will help you cover it, or I don't know your wallets, but if you're able to 100% pay for it and that is your kid's like dream school to go there. You will hear a lot of talk about admission rates when it comes to early decision. Is there more retention than that? Yes. And you do not know what you're going to pay out of pocket until spring, because when you do FAFSA, all that stuff is being done during the fall. The kid will list all their colleges that they've got accepted to or applying to. The colleges will take that information, put it in their own calculators and their big pot of money, and then send that in the spring. So I tell the kids, just because you get into NYU does not mean you could pay for NYU. Two very different things. Regular decision, this is usually February, March, sometimes January, depending on the school. Non-binding as well. This is good for kids who, if they found a college in December that they're like, oh my gosh, it's my dream college, great, you can still apply. Or a kid who still needs some work on his application because they just don't feel confident and they still want to put their best foot forward for the colleges as well. So they will usually hear back maybe March-ish. And early action, they will hear around December, January. And rolling admission, they just keep taking the applications until that class is filled or until classes start in August. So yes.
VCU does rolling, right?
VCU does rolling, but their priority scholarship consideration date is November 1st. Great. Financial aid, this is the fun part. So who here has a child in college already? Great. So you're familiar with FAFSA. Awesome. Giant calculator that takes you guys' taxes, the students' taxes, or any financial information, and essentially determines your eligibility for federal money. This can come in the form of loans or a grant, depending on your income level. And this is what helps schools determine what they can give your student, essentially, because there's merit-based aid, which is about grades, extracurriculars, sports, or need-based aid, which is based on parents' income, and student income too. You'll usually see this with lower income families as well. So FAFSA, this is just state aid for Virginia students. The students themselves have to be undocumented. Doesn't matter if the parents are, but the students themselves, if they are undocumented, they have to do this. It's Virginia Alternative State Aid, meaning they cannot take this to Texas, unfortunately, but this is the FAFSA version for our undocumented students there. If this is a situation for your student, your family, just send them to me. That is confidential. A CSS profile, this is required by some colleges. College Board gives you a whole list of schools that require it. And just ask the college. The ones in Virginia are University of Richmond, Washington and Lee, UVA, and I want to say Christopher Newport, but the newest one is Hollins as well. Sorry, do you have a question? Oh, it's okay. You're good.
Can I just
okay. Yeah.
time out real quick? Are you here for Spanish interpretation? Does anybody need Spanish interpretation here? I just want to make her available. Okay.
But you are learning.
Yeah.
And again, so in October, this opens in October, might open sooner, allegedly, from colleagues, don't quote me, but it will always be open October 1st. And we will also have someone, we call them a financial aid champion, Miss Rousey. She helps me track the FAFSA applications and helps kids do them as well. We will definitely show a video, but the main points for the 2026-2027 FAFSA, you guys will be using your 2024 taxes. It will always be 2 years prior. And the form will always be the year the kid is going to enroll. So every year you are in school, you got to do the FAFSA. So yeah.
Your videos.
Yes. And a beautiful overview. Do I tap it here? No. I tap it.
Can you press the close?
Hi, I'm Taylor,
I got you.
a college counselor here to answer your questions and help you on your financial aid journey. Wondering what FAFSA is and why it's important?
Can you make it bigger?
The free application for federal student aid, known as the FAFSA form, is the application that students complete each
Oh,
year
no, we can.
to receive student aid for college or career school. It's important that you fill out the FAFSA form too if you want to receive financial aid. The FAFSA form has a series of questions for you to answer, and it takes most people less than an hour to complete the form. The information you provide will be used to determine your eligibility for federal student aid, and many states will use your information to determine eligibility for state financial aid. This financial aid may include grants, scholarships, work-study funds, and student loans. When you complete the FAFSA form online, you can pick up to 20 schools to receive your information. Those schools will use the information to calculate how much student aid to offer you. Each school will send you an aid offer that details the types and amounts of aid available to you. Financial aid can help you and your family afford college or career school. Submit your FAFSA form to access the largest source of financial aid, federal student aid, as well as financial aid from your school and state. Make sure that you complete the form for every year you plan to attend school. You should submit it as early as possible on or after the day the form launches to meet state, school, and federal deadlines, and to be eligible for as much aid as possible. If you have more questions about the FAFSA process, visit studentaid.gov.
Hey.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Whee. Okay. Oh.
Not working. Oh, I don't know what to do. Let me go up.
There we go. Real quick about FAFSA as well. CSS profile also has their own deadlines determined by the school. As said, do it sooner rather than later because these are big pots of money that just start going and going. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. So with the FAFSA, again, this is a giant calculator that helps determine your eligibility for federal, state aid, and of course schools as well. It's better to do it sooner rather than later because this is a big pot of money. And so schools got to give it away. So if you're doing it in like May, June, your options are a bit lower, but please do it with scholarships. I really send kids like a lot of information. You guys should also be getting my newsletters as well. It's all there. I really recommend you use them. And if you have not created a FAFSA account yet, or you do not remember it, I do recommend you go to the website and make one. If you need help, please let me know and I will help you. If you went to college and you have no clue what it is anymore, just give them a call. And they will ask for your social security number and look you up. So yeah, see you back. All
right.
I can't admit this one person. I've lost my thing.
Right. We're trying to let someone in virtually. We cannot let you all have all of this fun and excitement to yourselves. You understand? So we are making sure that all of our virtual friends, are able to join. Did you admit this person?
I can't get there.
Admit all?
Yeah. Try. It's like the thing is maybe it's on that screen.
Oh, it is. Okay. So let's see.
Oh, wait, you just had it.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Yes. Okay.
Okay. And we have a question over there too.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is information that we have given to your children, your young people. We have given this information to them already. However, if your young people are like the young people that I have at my house, they probably have not talked to you about it, okay? So that's why we think it's important for us to give this information to you because sometimes the urgency is a little bit more for you than it is for them, okay? So, senior packet. Let's talk about it. Okay. First of all, where to find the senior packet. It is on the Edison Student Services webpage. It's off of the Edison High School website. You'll see a picture with all of our beautiful faces and you will be so mesmerized you will not remember what you're there for, but go and click and get the senior packet. Okay. Also, it's available on Schoology. Also, there are paper copies available. Okay, so you see the trend there. We have it lots of different places. And so I'm telling you where to find the senior packet. The question is, what is the senior packet? I'm going to tell you. First of all, before I get to that, let's back up. When I tell you what it is, you'll know why it's important that you know that it's due 15 school days before the first deadline. I'm gonna give that a second, let that sink in. 15 school days before the first deadline. Let's get into what the senior packet is and why we need those 15 days. Okay. So the first part of the senior packet, this is a consent to release information. We can't send anything to anyone without a signed consent form. Now, when we had a senior meeting last week, we gave them to all of the seniors. We said, hey, listen, if you're 18 or older, you can fill it out and return it to us. If you're not, take it home, let your parents sign, then return it to us. If you have done an early admissions process with us, you've already done it. Okay. This gives us permission to send information to other places. Other words, no, we cannot. Now, on this form, it asks, hey, do you want to waive your rights to see the recommendation and such? Now, we can't tell you what to do. However, if you don't waive your rights, colleges might say, why don't they trust the school counselor? Why don't they trust the recommenders? Is there something there? Now, some of you will hear that and say, we still do not want to waive our rights to see that. That's fine, but we just want to give you what we have learned and what we know to be the school's perspective on that, okay? But I can't tell you what to do. Okay. So that is the first part of the senior packet. This lady is Mrs. Hershorn. She is the person that your student, if they bring in the packet with paper, they're going to come and they're going to drop it off with Ms. Hershorn. Her desk is right in the front of student services. Now, your student might turn it in electronically to their counselor. That's also fine as well. Okay. If you turn it into your counselor, we're still gonna give it to Ms. Hershorn. It will get to her. Okay. But we had this behind the scenes footage. I'll give you some behind the scenes tea. This is pretty much the same presentation we gave to the students, but we know that y'all will listen and pay attention. Okay. So that's why we had to have her picture there so the students would know what she looks like. Okay. We had the waiver form, right? Also in the packet is the transcript request form. They will put the name of the school, okay, whether or not it's a Common App school, okay, whether or not they're going to put lots of information in there because I can't see. I know one thing that they put in is whether or not it's regular decision, early action, early decision. They'll put all of that on the form because that will tell Ms. Hershorn who to send that transcript to. Also, they'll indicate whether or not they need a counselor letter of recommendation. So if they turn this form in, but they haven't turned in their waiver, what happens? Nothing. Very good. Good answer. Right. They have to turn in the waiver form or this just goes and sits and dies a slow death. We do not want that. Okay. Next. Now, the reason why we say that the transcript form is due 15 days before your first deadline is that it needs time to make its way through the process of going sometimes from us to Mrs. Hershorn. Then she'll give it back to us and say, Skippy has requested these schools. and Skippy needs these letters of recommendation. Okay. And then we take the information. I'm going to go about some more. I'm going to tell you about some more things in the packet. We write the letter of recommendation. We submit it in the Common App. So it's a lot to it. So when Skippy comes to me on October 30th, and his deadline is November 1st, I'll see what I can do, Skippy. It's not looking good though. So we're asking 15 school days. So here's another scenario. What about the students who they're on top of it? They are on top of it, and they are going to tell they're going to give the form to the school counselor because it's due January 1st, and it is December 15th. That's good. All right. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And then parents, what are y'all going to say when y'all find out about this? That is not 15 school days. Okay. Because your counselors will also be on winter break as well. So 15 days, school days before the first deadline. Let's see. Oops. Let's move on. So in that packet, we have the waiver form, we have the transcript form, we also have the student self-assessment. This gives the student the opportunity to brag on themselves. Tell us a little bit more about who they are and what they want us to tell colleges about them. Okay, so they have to fill this out. They have to fill this out if they want a letter of recommendation from us. Okay. Details, specific examples are all very, very important. Okay. So that part is not optional. I'm trying to let in someone, and I've let them in. I got it. Okay. That is another form. Here is a form that is actually optional. The teacher feedback form. We're not talking about a teacher letter of recommendation that a college wants. That's a separate thing. In the senior packet, there is a teacher feedback form that they give to us. And we look at this, we're like, oh, this is good information. And we look, and then we use that and incorporate that in our letter. Okay. Also, I know some of you want to write the letters of recommendation for your own children. Sorry, that is not allowed. However, what is allowed is this form, okay, where you can, again, brag on your student, give us more insight as to who your student is, and then we will be we will just be writing that letter based on all of this information. It's not required, but it's up to you. Okay. Once again, senior packet can be found a few different places. Okay. Okay. Student service, the website, Schoology, and the paper copies are in the student services office. And how many school days before? 15. All right. Help your students with that math. I know they're in calculus and all of that, but you're going to have to help them with that 15 school days before. And here's a reminder. We're here to help. We are here to help you. You are almost there. Just think where you were in 2007, 2008, when you're rocking that little baby and they were there. Now they're about to graduate. We're all working to get that student over that finish line. If we have to do it, dragging and screaming, we're going to do it. We're going to get them there. Okay. So this is the College and Career Schoology code. I see some of you are taking pictures. I see some of you, and we will post this somewhere
It'll be posted on our website.
on our website. Now, someone has joined from outside of FCPS, but okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take some
I
questions,
just want to jump back to that slide if they want to.
and we want to jump back to that slide.
Hold on one
Okay.
sec.
No, it's back. It was back.
No, the one where the QR code is there. So
Oh.
if they want to do that.
Good idea.
Hold on, I just got to go all the way back because I don't. Oh, I guess I could go like this. This one. There we go. Okay. So there we go. So in the audience, does anybody have any questions? Before I get that, this presentation will be on our website, the recorded version, as well as the slideshow, so you can get all that information. Does anybody have any questions specifically that they want to address to us as counselors, parents, what have you, or about the process that we talked about? We have one question online that's come through, but here we are. Here we are.
So the Google form. So the question that we got is, as a divorced parent who fills out the
Here, come over.
FAFSA.
Yeah, come over here.
Sorry. Okay. To repeat, as a divorced parent who completes the FAFSA, this is slightly complicated because that's between FAFSA, the IRS, and you. But the best way to describe it is that FAFSA and IRS have something called a parent or family wizard. And so when your kid does their half of the FAFSA, they're going to be asked questions about you. Are they married? Who do you live with? All that fun stuff. And then on your end, you're essentially going to verify that. But on a kid's end, it's going to verify who's actually going to fill out the form with them. So some parents have like 50-50 custody, but one of them might make more than the other. FAFSA is the one who makes that decision on who actually puts that information. I hope that kind of makes sense. Okay.
I imagine they choose the person that makes more.
8 times out of 10, I've kind of seen it. It's depending on the weird, complicated situations some families have. But when you think, it's kind of like a bell curve. So the best way to describe this bell curve is that the estimated, bold, highlight, italicized, estimated cutoff for need-based aid is close to about 75K. So anything from there and below will be considered more for need-based aid, again, school dependent and IRS dependent. While everything above that, kids should really look into scholarships and merit aid as well. So that's what you can imagine. Hope that answers that question. Really, the form should take you at least an hour at most, honestly, as long as there's nothing like super duper complicated. But if it is something super duper complicated, that's okay. Everything under the sun has happened, so we can figure it out.
Just
Yes.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
I have an older child, and so there's a student part, and then there's also parent part.
Yep.
And then there's also potentially step-parent part. It all
Correct.
depends on the household. So whoever's contributing to this child's life, they'll all have to probably fill out the form.
Yep.
So
Can you
everybody's gonna have to.
No, you're good. Okay.
repeat that just so?
There you
They
go.
all have their own Yeah, they take their own path. They have to enter their own credentials and they have their own access, and it won't move forward until all parts are completed, and it'll stop you. You won't be able to submit until all parts are in. So
Thank you for parents on site. But to essentially repeat all that, so to answer part of that question about divorcee parents, whoever contributes to this child's life is essentially going to be on that FAFSA again, unless you have something real complicated, no contact, whatever it is. That's essentially what it's going to be. So parent, student, any step parent, if all all parts are not signed or completed, then it can stop the process of the financial aid form not being completed, essentially. So you're not going to get money. And honestly, to also bust the myth of, oh, I make too much, I'm not going to do FAFSA. Please do FAFSA. That's how the school can determine what to give your child. Even if FAFSA only gives you loans, schools and states still have their own money as well. Another note just came to me. If you're going to a private school in Virginia or applying to a private school in Virginia, they have something called VTAG, Virginia Tuition Assistant Grant. So really any private school in Virginia, they will require you to do this. This is their version of, I guess you could say, the Pell Grant for the, yes.
What is the name of it?
Virginia Tuition Assistant Grant, VTAG. Yes, you could say that's like their form of aid, Pell Grant, but any student needs to fill out if they're thinking about a private college in Virginia. Yeah. Okay. Additional questions?
Yes, but I'm gonna have to ask some clarification.
You're good.
We did have another question that came in, but I'm gonna have to ask the
Person asking.
the questioner to clarify this. So the question was, should I write down a college's name in Common App on the senior packet, even if the questions for the application are unavailable? I need a little bit more clarity on that in terms of what you are asking. Want to make sure we answer your question, but we're not quite sure exactly kind of what you're asking. But in the meantime, we're going to take any other questions that we have from our live audience. Dozens of folks that are here.
You mentioned recently there's something about the curves and also with 75,000.
Yes. Okay, hello again. The question was about the bell curve I mentioned for financial aid. So that's the best way to describe it. This bell curve is the range of aid. So 70, 75 is about the estimated cutoff for need-based aid. Again, IRS, FAFSA, that's their own math. So anything that and below is more likely to be considered for need-based aid. And anything from that and above, you're going to think merit aid. So sports, grades, extracurriculars, etc. Kids on both spectrums should still apply to financial aid, essentially. Like still do FAFSA and still do scholarships. So still super important. I tell kids the scholarship does not have to connect to your major. It's okay if it's only $500. That's $500 you don't have, as long as they meet the requirements of that scholarship. Yeah.
Did you get clarification on that?
It's okay.
Nope.
Yes.
Do any of you have any insight on kids who apply for early decision and who are waitlisted or deferred? Does that happen often in your experience? Do they then hear with the regular decision kids? I'm just curious.
So to recap your questions, to make sure I understand, if a kid is early decision and they haven't had a yes or no answer, but they're waited or deferred, deferred can be that they're moving their start date. So if a kid is like, hey, you are conditionally accepted, essentially, we recommend that you start next spring, not next fall. That's between the kid and the decision they want to make. That's fine. If it's early decision, you're still binded. Waitlisted, they just got to wait and see. They're not, how do I say it? They're not confined to just that one college to apply to. Important note, they can only apply to one early decision college, only one, not at the same time. If they get rejected from one and another college just happens to have an early decision deadline after that, they're welcome to apply, but not at the same time. It's going to be a whole legal battle if they get accepted at the same time. If they're waitlisted, that's really dependent on the college and when they're going to release that. Usually that's maybe late-ish spring. Sometimes it is with the regular decision kids, because the regular decision kids essentially like fill out the rest of that. Because depending on the school, early decision could have a better retention rate. But again, you come with that cost of like, I have no clue what I'm going to pay. And now I'm binded to this school. Am I actually going to like this school? That's, the student. Early action, at least it's non-binding. kids at least get their decision early and they still get that scholarship consideration. They can still be waitlisted, which is perfectly fine as well. They can still apply to other schools. Another thing with decisions, don't panic. Kids will get a notification around December, January that the schools are going to ask for mid-year grades. That's essentially the counselor needing to send their first and second quarter grades to the schools. Sometimes this is a make or break it for decisions. 9 times out of 10, it's really just making sure that they're still on track to graduate. So for example, if a kid, great, I see that you're taking physics your senior year and you have all these awesome classes, but then I see that you basically failed your first semester. That's a little weird. I might take away your decision if I haven't made one already, or you're just not going to get one. So yeah.
I have some thoughts. My son applied early decision to Virginia Tech and got in. Yay, that was the school he wanted to go to. It was his dream school. That's fine. We were done by like October. No, Thanksgiving was great. What did we sacrifice? He really didn't get a lot of money. So had he gone to another school that was more eager to get him, he was a 4.0 plus student, he may have gotten more scholarship opportunities. So it's a balancing act. It depends on what's important to you.
Can I jump on that?
Sure.
So I have 3 kids, 28, 26, and 23. And if your kid, I want to just reiterate that if your kid is a high performer, 4.0 better, don't be afraid to apply to those private institutions, especially the ones that are looking for those 4.0 students. They will come to you with money. So that's something to really consider. That happens a lot in my situation. And we didn't take advantage. We stuck in Virginia because that made sense for us. But it was amazing to see how many private institutions wanted our kids and were willing to pay for it.
Sorry. All the things. To jump off of that as well, it's nice to have a conversation with kids about what they actually want in a school. It's okay that they want a brand name, they want a football team, but at the core of it, what will actually benefit them. So that's why I really encourage kids to try and go to the college visits that I tell them to go to. Naviance, this is where you go, it's where you register. And then that way they can really just find out, is this college the right fit for me? Unfortunately, a lot of smaller schools or private schools do get overlooked, but they're really great options. So, for example, I had Randolph College here today, and they're an amazing school. And no one came, but we had a great time together. And they're very willing to give money. Or last year, we had 2 kids. They got full rides to Hollins University. It's this all-girls school in Roanoke. Or even Mary Washington, not a private school, but they love to give money to kids. Yes, please come. Super small school. Your kid might actually benefit as well.
So let me make sure I'm clear.
Yeah.
You mean the college visits when the representatives come here to Edison?
Yes.
When the college rep, not necessarily. Also, if you can have a visit on campus, that's great. But we're talking about the reps are coming here. All the students have to do is sign up.
Sign up, yes. Now there is a max of 5 to prevent kids just taking advantage of it and missing class. But if they really, really want to go to one, honestly, they could just email me. But that's just that safety barrier, honestly. Yeah, and also even with out of state, you might be surprised that there is money to be given as well. Kids kind of write it off ooh, that's going to be expensive. But we have kids who they get more money out of state than in state. Yeah. And yeah, you never know. That might be a better fit for them. Yeah.
Is it still a potential for the colleges that are more higher in terms of brand or people are more interested for them to sell out, the college visits to sell out or to be fully booked?
Yes.
That happened for my student a couple of years ago. So maybe just encourage everybody that if they have a need, sign up early because they will get totally booked.
Absolutely. Yes. Read your emails. That's all I tell them. Read your emails. Because I really do put all the information there. I even show them where to go, but it's beneficial. So for example, the deadline passed, but Virginia Tech is coming tomorrow morning and that one's almost booked. So yeah, and these are the people who also read your students' applications as well. So I think it's even more beneficial for them to go, because then they can see like who's actually going to look at my essay and what are they looking for. Because college admissions truly is like a round table, like, oh, okay, I'm Northern Virginia, Miss Bryant is Southern Virginia, Miss Morrow is Central Virginia, and now we have our yes piles and our no piles. Now we're going back and forth of I want my yes here, well, I want my yes here. That's really college admissions. So the most that we can help your student do is put their best foot forward, pray, and yeah, hope for the best.
So they do that on their own.
They do it on their own.
We don't do the praying part.
Yes,
We just send them lots of good wishes.
Yes.
absolutely.
Advice.
Whatever works for you.
And so I know that we are running out of time, but I did get clarification on that question. The question that the person had before is, if you are filling out the transcript request form, do you put colleges, even if they're not Common App schools, because not all colleges use the Common App, do you use that form? The answer is yes. Even if it's not a Common App school, do put every college that you want us to send a transcript to has to go on that form. Okay.
Oh, another question.
Yes.
So depending on economy, administrations, various different things,
Mhm.
sometimes you see it's more challenging to get into schools as opposed to other times. And just curious if you've seen any trends right now where perhaps not as many foreign students may be coming and schools might be opening up more to students in the United States. Have you seen any indicators or anything along those lines?
So the question that one of our parents had was, what kind of trends are we seeing for this graduating class in terms of the students who are being admitted? Are the colleges looking for students who are more U.S. citizens as opposed to students coming from other places? And here's my answer. My answer is, we won't know until the end of this cycle. Sorry. Sorry. So for you all, and it has changed so much from the class of 2025 to the class of 2026. So I would not be able to venture to guess. I will step aside though. You got to.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is I think, success is being defined in different ways today more than ever. And I think, back in, years before, success only meant a 4-year college degree. I am so happy to say today, success comes in apprenticeships, success comes in junior colleges, success is defined in so many ways. And I love that. And I think it's opened up so many different opportunities for students who have different passions and interests. And I think that's a really big thing. So
yeah, my ultimate goal is not that your student have a 4-year degree. My ultimate goal is that your student has a plan for when they leave Edison High School. Okay.
agreed.
Yes.
Virginia Tech representative coming tomorrow at 9:00.
Yes.
Okay.
Virginia Tech representative. The question was
Is the Virginia Tech representative coming tomorrow at 9:40? The answer is yes. However, if your child hasn't signed up, it's too late. So, sorry.
Let's see. Talking about trends, I will say talking about trends, because that is a very good question with all the things going on. One, do not worry. We do not disclose any information about a child or parent status. That's us. That's between us. Because I know that can be a fear factor essentially and prevent a lot of kids for doing such applications. But studies show that a little over 90% when a kid does the FAFSA, they're much more likely to enroll in the program, whether that's college or an apprenticeship. On the other note, I have seen a trend of more kids going to community college because of the money aspect. I'm a big fan of community college. That's where I started. I'm really glad I started there. I didn't have Miss Rodriguez, so I just kind of landed there. But it was good to get my feet wet as a first gen kid. He was also a Pell Grant kid, hence why I was not in debt until I transferred. But also, if you're really just trying to have your students start something and help them figure out their pathway, honestly, because I see a lot of kids, they're like, I have no clue what I want to do. Great, undecided is technically a major. But if you really want to try something at low cost, but also still get that experience, community college. And honestly, some of our kids, they also don't even want the hype. They just want their degree. And I respect that too. So yeah, that's a good trend I see.
Can I add one other thing too?
Absolutely.
So, the only other thing, some students today more than ever are doing something called gap years, and gap
Yes.
years can be really fruitful opportunities. There's programs like Work Away and Help X, where you can actually go overseas and spend a gap year working on a farm or working in a town in Europe or in South or Central America, and just getting this really cool experience. Because I think a lot of kids just don't know what they want to do when they're leaving high school, and this is a great year to do that exploration and discovery. And how those usually work is you work part-time 20 hours a week, and then you get free room and board from that organization that you work with, and then you can go to school there, you can go travel, you can go figure yourself out.
Yeah.
So
How do parents sign up for that?
exactly. There is a gap year, just to let you know, in January they do a gap year information session, and you should look out for that in News You Choose. I would highly suggest you go to that if that's something you want to learn about or you want your students to learn about.
Or a time machine. I'm sorry.
Yeah. AmeriCorps still takes people, so does Peace Corps. I love my AmeriCorps experience. So yeah. And if they do AmeriCorps and they get like enough hours, then they will get how do I say it? An award. What they don't tell you is that it's tax. But I still have money for college.
Yeah.
So yes, is an awarding experience. So that I guess you could say that was my gap year after undergrad, because I was like, grad school sounds like too much now.
Yeah.
But that was a nice icebreaker. It still gave me something to do. That's how I got into college advising. So yeah. Cool.
Ready to wrap it up?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be with us.
Here.
And I hope you have a good evening. And don't forget to remind your student about senior packet and the waiver form. So, thank you.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Great presentation.
Oh, great. Glad you liked. Good night, everyone. Okay. How do I stop?
Thank you so much.